7 days, that's how long I've got to build my SaaS and make my first sale. The goal of this video is to show you everything from A to Z, totally transparently, how I'm going to build a SaaS in 7 days and make my first sale. I'm going to document everything. I'm going to show you everything from the very first line of code all the way to my very first sale. The goal is to explain the problem I'm trying to solve and the little marketing tricks I'm going to try to make that first sale. Unlike my other videos where I worked 12 to 18 hours non-stop, this time I'm going to keep a calmer, steadier pace, take a little more time and do fewer hours of coding each day. So it still turns out nice and tidy, really clean in the end. And of course, unlike the other times, this time I truly have to make a proper sale. We are not talking about more time. We are talking about making that sale. I'm going to show you right on my PC exactly what we're building, how we're going to do it, and which strategies we're going to use. Also, quick personal update here. I'm in Vietnam right now, in Da Nang, to be precise. I've been here for around 10 days, and I honestly don't know how long I'm going to stay. The goal is to try it out and to see if I really like it, and so far I'm absolutely loving it. It's an amazing city with tons and tons of perks. I think I'm going to stay here for a little while. So if you want me to make a small lifestyle video or to show you roughly how much things cost, what the pros and the cons are and so on, just say the word. A video that's a little less techy, tell me in the comments. And before we jump into the video, if you're in Vietnam or in Da Nang or you're planning to come, feel free to send me a message on social media and we'll set up a little meetup happily. I'm always down to meet new people. Okay, so we're back on my PC where I'm going to carefully show you the idea to really drop you right in. It's going to be called My Startup Idea. Nice and simple, nice and clear. It's going to be software that will let people with or without tech skills calmly find a startup idea, a project or a SaaS. You enter your skills, your knowledge, what you like, your favorite fields, pretty much everything that makes you, you as a person. And it is going to spit out a complete detailed report, or it is going to suggest ideas that really, truly match your needs. And most importantly, are based on real, verifiable data. So right now, what's happening out there on the market, on the internet, what can be filled in, improved and so on. Because I'm starting from the idea that today, more and more with the arrival of AI, things like Cursor, Codex, Cloud Code, Lovable and more, coding a SaaS, an MVP, it's really getting easier and easier. But the really tricky part with all the competition out there is actually finding an idea that truly has real potential and genuinely matches what you can do, your needs, your skills, and that can really solve a problem and of course reliably make you money. And honestly, coming up with an idea takes time, energy and research. A lot of the time it means meeting the right people at the right moment and so on. So I think there's real potential to really smooth out that friction, to gently ease the pain of finding an idea and to trust an algorithm that is going to take in all the available data and then carefully hand back one or even several ideas that are truly workable and viable. Basically, as of right now, to find a SaaS or startup idea, it was just social media. You slowly stroll around on social media and you spot a little thing you like or that really speaks to you and that seems to have some genuine potential. The second option is to really look at your own problems, to carefully spot the little hurdles you face every single day and then to steadily work on fixing those very problems through your startup, simply and clearly, step by step. The third option is to take tasks that are pretty boring, super redundant, really repetitive to do, truly tedious and annoying, and then just go ahead and simply automate them. Just automate them. Also, you can take an idea that's already out there, proven and working, and just make it better. That works really well too. After that, the idea I personally prefer, and that I really notice works best for me and for the people around me, is to discover an idea by serendipity. That means you meet someone and they simply share something with you. And then bam, it really, truly clicks for you and you slowly realize there's a real problem to solve, either for them or based on what they told you in your chat. And that's so often how I found my very best ideas. It's simply by talking with people and that's where you start crisscrossing things and you find awesome ideas. For me, the idea was really to automate all the research you can do on the internet to grab all the data available in real time and understand what's really going on, pull it all together, match it with your skills and what you like, and then spit out a SaaS idea that basically fits you. So the site is going to take your preferences, the niches you like, your skills, and it'll put it all together, nice and neatly. And through a system I haven't coded yet, of course, but that I've planned out across different channels, like a deep research system with OpenAI, for example. I know I'm already offering one through their API as of now. There's Perplexity for that too. We can also use, for example, the Reddit API and basically tap the maximum number of channels available, like Twitter, which just popped into my head, and pull it all together based on what you want, what you're looking for, and give you something that's really accurate. So here, between the two, I'm thinking there will be a tiny algo, I'm not totally sure yet, that spits out a report for you, and maybe even after that, after it's found the ideas, it could even suggest some marketing ideas tailored to you and to the idea. Basically, the idea is to offer something tailor-made for you, in terms of the tech I'm going to use, because that really matters. The goal, of course, is to use AI as much as we can to go fast, because, like, we've got 3 days, and it's still just 3 days. It's not a whole month. So for the stack, we'll use AI. Like I said, we'll use Codex, which I'm using a lot right now with Cursor, maybe Claude Code, we'll see. So then, the usual tech for a web app, Nest.js for the backend, maybe OpenRouter to use a router for the different AIs I've used, because I'm going to use quite a few. We'll use Firebase or maybe Supabase for the database. So yeah, basically that's the little stack I'm going to use, pretty standard. It's not a super hard project, it's still pretty basic. It's just aggregating some APIs with a front end that's nice and looks good and is fun to use. And after that, an emailing system, and I think it'll still be pretty basic. For the first version, that would be good. Everything is really going to happen here, right here in the algo, and in how I am going to set up the architecture so it actually runs well, with a bit of engineering, some careful fine-tuning. Maybe not, maybe a proper RAG system, because if there's a bit too much data, I don't know, we'll see, depending on the marketing techniques I'm going to use. So maybe if you're watching this video, you might have seen some tweets from me about it, but basically I'm going to talk about it a lot on Twitter, I think. By the way, feel free to follow me on Twitter, that's where I'm most active compared to the other platforms. I'm not super active, I tweet in English, but I make some pretty cool stuff, I think, so feel free to follow me on Twitter. The things I'm not going to do, because yeah, I'll only have one day to market it. So all those directory things like product hunt, tiny launch, micro launch, yeah, they're fine for getting visitors, but they're not really going to help me convert. And on top of that, they're way too slow, way too much work for nothing. So honestly, it's pointless. YouTube too. Long videos do work really, really well, but they take a lot of time, like a lot of time. Stuff we don't have here with Twitter, we've got nothing, really nothing. We might run some classic ads on TikTok too, with a small audience, so that could work too. And YouTube Shorts, which I know does pretty well and is pretty fast. It's fairly easy to get views, honestly. So yeah, that's mostly it. Normally, that should be enough to get a single sale. Then right away, so tomorrow morning, going straight into code, starting the project, the whole architecture, front end, back end, and so on. Really setting everything up properly and then starting to code to already have a tiny working version, early or late morning.
Okay, so first day of work today. Right now I'm not in a cafe, I'm in a co-working space in Hanoi. It's really nice, I paid €5 for the day, and the idea is to kick off the project and build the whole MVP. We're gonna try to get it all done, completely. We'll kick things off with Codex to set up the whole base of the project, and I'll keep you posted on the progress.
You kind of know the drill for today. The goal was to fully set up the front end and the back end and to get a first route actually working. What I usually do myself is to spin up the front end and the back end with the framework's recommended commands, step by step, nice and clean. But this time I wanted to shake things up a bit and hand everything off to Codex, who took care of building the whole front end and back end. It was pretty well done. There were a few things that were a bit weird and not very clean that I had to fix at the end. Like how it put a bunch of files and folders kind of anywhere, honestly, but for the most part, it was actually very good. I wouldn't exactly go so far as to say it saved me time, but I would say it really let me work on other things on the side, like doing some research through the API documentation. I'm still kind of on the fence about using Codex or Claude Code to build out the architecture, but I do think that over the next few months, as the models keep getting faster and smarter, it is going to be really, really interesting to use those methods. Then, something I've only just started doing is I now set up the whole AI part. Like, I actually set up all the rules properly. And now there's a file called agent.md, which is going to be used by Codex and also by the Cursor files. It's basically a folder where we'll put different rules used by Cursor, which is like the same thing as the agents.md. But in all that, I am going to be setting up all the rules, all the structures it has to follow, about clean code, which component to use, which MCP to use. Those are super important, by the way, and I really do recommend you do it because it saves you a whole lot of time. It helps keep the AI's answers consistent. It stops you from retyping the whole context every single time, and it saves you from lots of bugs and from real headaches. To sum up, today I went ahead and set up the front end and the back end. I put together a super basic prompt that now gives me a few very simple ideas, and we've got my very first route working without any authentication, for now. Day 1 is wrapped up. I finished building the first 2 APIs I wanted to add. The prompt engineering ended up taking a bit longer than I thought, really handling all the different responses and so on.
carefully. I even got cut off in the elevator, but basically it turned out way more expensive and honestly way longer than expected in the end.
Goal for tomorrow, to finish the front end, finish the back end as well, and show you something so we can move into beta testing. I don't know if you can hear me well, I don't know if you can really see, but at Christmas, this city is just really wild. It's a total nightmare with cars, with motorbikes, with traffic for driving and everything.
It's just a total nightmare, honestly. Also, I just thought of this. If you want me to share the prompt I used for the deep search, like the report one of the prompts, tell me in the comments. I'll share it with you happily. Honestly, I'm not trying to make tons of money with this project. Anyway, it's just for fun. And if it can really help you, please say so down in the comments and I'll go ahead and share it with you, I think, with no problem at all. For day 2, the goal is to push the back end as far as possible and by the end of the day, show a fully working functional interface.
I also needed to figure out a way to send a clean PDF report to the user to send the email. It's pretty simple. You all know resend. Just a few lines of code and it's super easy to use. But to create the PDF, I had to do it on the server side. So for that, I picked JS Report. What I do, quite simply, is that I base myself on the deep researches and then I use GPT-5 to bundle everything up and turn it into clear, readable text. After that, I asked GPT-5 Mini to carefully transform it into clean HTML with a nice, simple design, which I then send over to JS Report for rendering. For anyone who doesn't know, to use JS Report, you need to run a little server on your computer that spins up headless Chromium to make the PDF by rendering the HTML. So there's a tiny setup to do to make it work in production using Docker. I think that's what took me the most time. Another hard part was that for every single tweak to the prompt, I had to wait long minutes before I could actually see the search result and the report being built, step by step. It was slow and a bit painful. I also underestimated how pricey the Perplexity API was. It was extremely, shockingly expensive. Okay, after day 2, I'd finished, well, let's say basically the whole backend, the system, and also an interface that you'll see is actually usable. I asked Codex to build the front based on the routes, on the controllers, and on the different DTDs I had. He made me something, but it's horrible, really gross. I feel like puking. But hey, it works. I'll fix it tomorrow, but the main thing is, it works. You can enter the info and I get a PDF that you'll see is pretty good. We can tweak it a bit, but it's clean, and I think it adds a lot of value. Basically, it looks like this. I know, it's gross, it's awful. Codex is super bad at design. We'll just ask him questions like this, but otherwise he fills in his different bits of info. He looks for his niche, how many people are on his team, and so on. I'm going to fix the UI and the UX. Underneath it'll look like this, and then it will send the PDF straight away. Basically, it takes 20 to 30 minutes, sometimes more, to generate the PDF, but yeah, it would look kind of like this. Basically, you get a nice little email like this telling you it's done and all that. What they filled in, plus the little insights, and a cute little PDF like this, where you really have all the info. We've got 11 pages total, which is pretty good. It works. We'll try to do better next versions, but I think it works really well. Right now we've got something nice because it's going to use for now 2 deep research APIs, and I'm finishing a third one, a little open source homemade thing. So now we'll check. I think we're pulling from maybe 100 sources. It'll compare 5 ideas and spit out the 2 best to put in the report. So that's pretty good. We've got everything. We've got the names. We've got the recommended stack.
We've also got a snapshot of the market, competitors, monetization, advantages, go-to-market, risks, and so on for both ideas. And we've got all the sources at the end to check. So it's pretty cool. So tomorrow the plan is to polish all this, install the third API if possible, tidy up the design, make it clean, and start sending out the beta testing. I think I'll also start in parallel implementing all the login stuff and so on, security and all that, with Supabase setup. But yeah, it's taking longer than expected. It's okay because honestly, I'm in a super chill mode. I'm not putting in a ton of hours each day. Not gonna lie, my hours are pretty standard and pretty slow, so it's normal it takes longer, but it's okay. The idea is to make something a bit more thought out and polished than my other projects, where I really had to go full speed. I'm not in Red Bull coffee mode, not sleeping. So see you tomorrow for day 3, which is going to be a little different.
For day 3, nothing extraordinary at all. I basically just took my time and carefully polished the whole design of GPT-5 Codex using the new Anthropic Claude 4.5 Sonnet model, which, by the way, is itself honestly a lot stronger when it comes to design and styling. It understands Codex better than I do, so my current combo is really GPT-5 Codex for the back end and Claude 4.5 for the front end. It works really well, honestly. I went in and carefully tweaked the report to make it a bit longer, and I also worked on the homepage with a pretty special, very distinctive style. Okay, so end of day 3. I didn't put in a ton of hours today. I started pretty late, but I did manage to ditch all the really yucky GPT-5 design and make something way cleaner. You'll see for sure. Basically the front end is done and the back end too. What I've got left is the whole database bit really. I think it's those two things, maybe a little polishing here and there. I'm not totally happy with the report yet, and tomorrow, while the beta testers run their tests, I'm going to wrap all that up so I can show you really quickly. Basically the homepage would look like this. Pretty simple and minimal, but I think it does the trick. Basically we've got a little video effect tucked inside the text, and when you turn the sound on, I've never done this, but I'm giving it a try. Tell me what you think. I think it looks pretty clean with the little Starship videos. When you click it, I mean, everyone knows that one, right? You know, when it landed right there. And when you start, it's got the classic little cushion. I'm keeping it simple, black and white. Now that raises questions. We type the first name with small framer animations. We add a tiny niche. Here I put coffee shop in Da Nang. Keep going. Here I set how many people we want on the team. Then we pick the little tech stack. We think it's easier to select. Here, for example, this is my classic stack. We can add more here. For example, I'll put Tailwind, moving on. Now we choose the audience. Let's say here subscriptions. Then we ask how many ideas we want to generate. I'm trying to show that the more ideas we ask for, the less detail we'll get on each idea. But yeah, I set popular to 2 ideas. And here you can choose the language you want to get the report in. When you click there, then it sends it. Basically, it triggers creating the report and shows a little page like this. I'm going to tweak that. It's not super clean. It looks a bit old school. I'll change it. But yeah, the idea is that it's going to take about 30 minutes. We'll be sending the report to your inbox, just like I showed you the day before. So I really can't wait to reach out to the beta testers to start the tests and to start rolling it out on the front end and on the back end, and then let people try it out for real. For this 4th day, to start with, I basically went ahead and set up Superbase, nice and clean, with 2 tables, one for the reports and another for the users, with a regular, very standard sign-in through Google, nice and simple. On this one, I have to say, Codex really did save me quite a bit of time, and I honestly have to admit it, truly, absolutely. There's also Superbase that, well, actually helps out a lot, right out of the box, with token management and with sign-in, plus a little bit with security as well, which is honestly really cool. And there are also the MCPs, which were super handy, really practical, for finding the Superbase docs, and the libraries that I'm using right now in my setup day-to-day on this project. I also took care of the extra pages, like the settings page, the pricing page, and the dashboard page that's going to hold the whole history of generated reports. I really wanted people to be able to jump back into questionnaires they'd started super easily and also see the progress. I also used Mark Louvion's site. You might know him. He's the one who created a site called LogoFast. It lets you make logos super easily, really easily. They're pretty simple, kind of basic, but it really did the job. It really did what I needed in the end. Okay, day 5. So before we get started, I'll show you a little bit of what I did, real quick. Yesterday. So I started sending out the beta testing requests, and I set up the whole login, sign up, and session management part, basically. So here you can see there's the home page. Here, a little sidebar pops up only when the user is logged in. So here you can find an idea. Here we'll show all the ideas he's made. We'll kind of show them off. Actually, we're going to make a list of all the ideas he has that he managed to come up with. And here we've got a little section, settings, with notifications and paying. This one too, it'll be the card right below. But basically, this is a one-time payment to access the report. It's pretty standard, but basically when he clicks here, it's going to saved in the database the start of his report with all the questions. Basically, as soon as he answers the question, it saves right away, so we can keep track of what he is doing and let him pick up where he left off if he leaves the quiz in the middle of a session. I still haven't gotten solid, concrete feedback from the beta testers yet, but the idea now is to tidy all of this up a little bit. I'm going to put the paywall on the very last question. I'm also going to go ahead and cap it at 2 ideas, because I noticed all the other beta testers tried it out. They ask for 3 every time. 3 is a bit much. I'm realizing it hurts quality, so I'll cap it at just 1 or 2. And I'm also going to make this page that shows all the reports we've generated. And basically, we'll be good. After that, we just need to hook up Stripe, maybe add the different feedback from the testers, and then we'll be good. To sum up day 5, it really wasn't tricky at all, because I think it's the day where I hand-coded the very least, and I basically let the AI handle everything. I simply asked Codex to use Context 7's MCP to go fetch Stripe's documentation and to properly set me up with Stripe with the different webhooks and with adding credits to the user when they pay, nice and clean. I also finished the dashboard page. It's really just little rows that can open up and close back down. Very simple and easy to use. You click on it to check the progress and the questionnaire. I also finished the different routes to fetch projects, to create them, and so on. Also a system, also a complete email sending system. When a report fails, well, when creating a report fails, you do get an email. And basically that was pretty much it in the end. Tweaked a bit here and there on the front end and the back end, but honestly, it was kind of crazy. Today, it really did everything for me. I found a great setup with Cursor using Codex on one side and Claude Sonnet 4.5 on the other, so it was awesome. I even ended up just scrolling on Twitter. I really had nothing else to do. We're jumping straight to day 6 for this very last dev day, right after getting the feedback from the folks who tested, by the way. A big thank you to you if you're watching this video. It really helped me a lot, and mostly it turns out they were pointing to issues with the questionnaire questions that, according to them, just weren't really relevant at all. And really, looking a bit closer, yeah, those were questions that weren't very logical, so I fixed that, but otherwise nothing shocking on that side. I also set up Stripe. Well, Codex did it for me using the docs. I ran a few tests, polished the design a bit and the back end too. I did a little bit of work on the report and I took care of putting the front end and the back end into production. For the back end, I use Northflank, which I think is a British provider, and it's really good. Honestly, it's my favorite so far out of all the ones I've tried. Okay, so day 7, like I told you before, I finally put the app online, so it is live on appmystartupidea.io and it is available in French and in English. You can log in, you can sign up, and you can pay with Stripe, no problem at all. It costs 10 euros to get a report with a 50% discount included right now. Since everything's all good on that side, now we're going to need to put together the landing page just to change things up a bit. I figured that instead of grabbing a template, like from Magic UI or Tailwind, and tweaking it after, I could maybe build it from scratch, quote unquote, with a solid prompt using Sonnet 4.5. I found a neat little trick here with Perplexity. We did a bit of digging and it spit out a prompt that I think comes from Reddit with some classic prompt engineering tricks. I'm gonna try it, and I think with this I'll have a solid base. I'll say which components to use, from which library, and so on, and then I'll tweak it after. I'll make it better, I think. I doubt it'll work in one shot, and once that's good, I'll jump straight into marketing. I'm thinking of running a few posts on social networks, TikTok, and so on. And the goal is really to make my very first sale today, so let's go now.
And just a few moments later.
I finished the landing page. It's perfect. It's pretty much how I wanted, and I think it looks pretty clean. The only downside, I'd say, is that actually you can kind of tell, for folks who know, who've coded a bit before, you can tell it's a little empty, coding the page. If you look, for example, not that, but maybe a bit more right here, there, you can see the icons and everything. You can kind of tell a little. It's not perfect, but hey, it really saves me from grabbing a template, and it let me test things quickly. It basically took, I'd say, one prompt plus a few little tweaks. So overall, I think the result is pretty good. If you want the prompt, tell me in the comments and I'll add it nicely. But basically, you have to clearly list all the components you wanted to pull in from Magic UI, Sanity, etc. But I think it's pretty good. Basically, it looks like this with little effects. I really like this. This is pretty nice. Let's say it's pretty basic. That works for me. And well, yeah, if you click the button, it jumps straight to the app. And now really all that's left is to make the very first sale. Honestly, I think it's going to be smarter to handle that first thing tomorrow. So yeah, I'm really excited to try out the marketing strategies now. Okay, so today is supposed to be the very last day, and today is really going to be all about marketing. Since everything is now live on mystartupidea.io, our app is fully up and running. We've got the landing page and the application is live as well. And today it is going to be marketing for real. So I'm going to post a little announcement on Twitter right now. I think I'm going to make 1 or 2 short little videos on Instagram and TikTok to test things out, and then we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens. And I really hope to make my very first sale today. So let's go. Let's do this. It's day 8 and I finally made my very first sale, for real. So right now it's almost 12 o'clock and I just saw on Stripe that I actually made my first sale. I'm pretty sure it's thanks to TikTok or maybe the shorts I put up on YouTube earlier. Let me show you Stripe, nice and clear, right here. So basically you can see $10. In euros, that's about 9 euros. So basically, in total, there are 10 plus 8 euros because I did a test myself before. But this one, yeah, it's really someone who bought it. What I did, super simple, was just film myself explaining a bit what I'd done. Yeah, I posted it on YouTube and TikTok, and I translated it into 4 languages. Then I put it on my different YouTube accounts because I have several. I have Portuguese, Spanish, Italian and English, plus French. And it was on TikTok that it got the most views. At first I put it up with no ads, nothing at all. It didn't do great, so I just put $10 on TikTok. It's the first time I've ever done that. I usually do it more on Twitter because I'd already tested it with my other startup. So yeah, what I did simply was put 10 euros. And then like that one ended up hitting 8,000, almost 9,000 views, and I think it really came from there. By the way, I invite you to follow me on TikTok and on Instagram. I'm trying to post a bit of cool stuff and a bit of lifestyle too, you know? So yeah, honestly, it's super, super cool because after a little bit more than 24 hours, I ended up getting my very first sale right after actually putting it online. I talked about it a little on X and well, on X it really didn't pick up much at all. I put up a small chill post, nothing fancy, but I was really thinking about the TikTok that I posted, the one I put up earlier, the one I shared, you know, the TikTok I had put online. So yeah, I'm not profitable since I put money into ads, but that's okay. The goal was just to get my first sale. Normally, I test several hooks, several videos, and I see which one goes the most viral, which one works best, and then I put money behind that. That's the logical way to do it, and that's what you should do. But I didn't overthink it. I just grabbed one video and put it straight into an ad. So yeah, super fun. So to sum it up, super fun as a tiny adventure. 7 days of chill work, no stress, not a ton of hours each day. And in the end, I've got a product that works, that runs, and that solves a small problem. It's not an extraordinary ultra technical product, but it's a cool product that solves something. So yeah, I'm really pretty happy. It gives me a brand new little project to pin up on the project wall, which is nice. Please tell me what you think down in the comments, drop a like if you can, hit subscribe, and we'll see each other in the next video.